What's up, y'all? So we back with Grey's Anatomy, season 16, episode 14, a diagnosis. So as we know, we have been dealing with this woman for like since it came back on, since it came back the part two premiere. So we've been dealing with this woman who has not been able to find a diagnosis for her treatment. So that's why it's called a diagnosis. We kind of leave off, exactly where Station 19 left off. They were bringing the patients in from the bear attack, and let's get through this whole story. They bring the patients in with the bear attack. Of course, uh, Bishop has the nose, so she brings that. They put his nose in his arm to keep it alive, and the crazy part is, um, his wife happened to be cheating on him. He protected her against the bear, and she happened to be cheating on him. Somebody she met from high school. It's just so happened that unfortunately, dude died. And how is it to die with a nose in your hand? I don't know. That's weird. He died, and she felt terrible. And she told dude like, you leave. Like, now she feels terrible. That would be a sad way to live. Like, you over here go out cheating and stuff, and then you turn around and your husband dies after saving you from a bear attack. I would feel guilty for the rest of my life. And this is why I don't do things like that. That's why you have to be cautious with every move you make because of that right there. You never know what's going to happen. And I just kind of feel like that's why you just, bro, karma will come back and bite you in the butt. I mean, it's not really karma. It's just more like, you sow the seed that you get back the seed that you sow. And that's just what happened to her. So yeah, Joe's kind of, she's their doctor, and she's kind of like, talking about it. She's like, it got her thinking about Alex, and she's like, man, what if he's off cheating with some girl he met with his mom? And um, she talks to Link about it, and they talk about Amelia and the baby, and then she talks to Hunt. She's like, man, what if you found out that Amelia's baby was yours? And he's like, bro, why would you even say something like that, not knowing that could actually be a possibility? And I'm like, Joe, man, you're crazy. You're crazy for bringing that up. Now, Joe, she dealt with a lot last season. She came back from a mental breakdown. She just started coming back to work at the beginning of the season. So, like they said in the article, they were trying to break this news easy so that it's not going to cause her to go into a mental breakdown. When it's a show, but they're trying to make it realistic as well. So because she had that mental breakdown last month, they don't want to spring it on her. Oh, your husband's, he's just not gonna be around anymore. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to make it an easy transition for Joe, and that makes a lot of sense. Um, so we'll see where that goes. Amelia and Maggie, they talk about everything. Amelia tells Maggie that the baby could be Hunt's, and they kind of talk about it. And Amelia talks about it. I mean, Amelia, Maggie talks about it from Link's perspective, like, well, this is what he must be feeling. Yes, you guys are together, but that baby's not his, and that baby has to have a connection with somebody else. And Amelia's like, well, he doesn't know if he wants to be with me if the baby's Owen's, and I don't want to know if I want to stay with him. She said, which is making me feel like I don't know if I want to stay with him if the baby is Link's. And I kind of get that, but you know what I'm saying? Because you guys weren't exclusive when it happened. It wasn't like an exclusive thing, so it just kind of happened. Now I get it, life happens and everything, but sometimes is it's just maybe something he can't do, but love will conquer, and they, you know what, they're gonna get back together. She gonna break up with him and tell him, yeah, we're done, blah blah. I got my sisters, but I don't see that happening. They're definitely gonna get back together. Um, you know what I'm saying? They're just not gonna do that. I just don't feel that strongly about that. I just don't see that. So the nitty gritty of this episode is DeLuca. He's going nuts, and he hadn't slept in days. He'd been trying to find a diagnosis for this woman. So then Meredith gets involved. She's like, bro, Andrew, have you been sleeping? And he comes down and he interrupted her talking to McWidow, and he said something in Italian, and then McWidow said something in Italian. Meredith did look like, you speak Italian? And he kind of walks away after that. But or yeah, McWidow walks away after that, and Meredith and DeLuca talk, and DeLuca's sister is Andrea. I think her name is Andrea actually. She's back there, and she kind of overhears everything, and she's telling Meredith like, oh, this is what happens. This is why I came to America, because of this is the age that my dad was when he had his mental breakdown, and it runs in the family. And I kind of feel like, man, I don't feel like he's having a mental breakdown. I just really kind of feel like the dude hadn't slept, and because he was trying to find a diagnosis for the woman. But because of that, because she got in Meredith's head, Meredith went to Bailey and was like, bro, we gotta do something about him. And he's like, he reacts in a terrible way by breaking up with her. And I just kind of feel like that's terrible, bro. Why would you do that? And I just kind of feel like they should have been an end game. And if it can't be Derek, it should have been DeLuca. And of course, they're going to make McWidow, somebody, why can't just love be love, even though she's a resident? I mean, he's a resident and she's Meredith Grey. Why can't love conquer all? Like, he'll be making this much money one day. Like, come on. Like, it's not even about that. Like, she didn't really have respect for him, which is true because he didn't have what Derek had. But I mean, it's kind of crap. It's just, yeah. So he breaks. Man, there's a lot of breaking up going this episode. It's just really terrible. Um, so he breaks up with her and everything. After she, he and the deaf doctor. I can't remember what her name is. I'm sorry for calling her a deaf doctor because she's deaf in real life, but I don't remember her name. She ain't nobody to play with. She don't play no games. She be serious. Her and DeLuca, they're going through every possible scenario. They're taking the woman off of medicine and to see if they can find anything. Then they test her bone marrow, and they find out she has something called Steele's or something disease, and they're able to treat it with the steroids. Now, DeLuca does that rebelliously. It's kind of like when Warren cut that woman's stomach open and took that baby out of her stomach, and yeah, it's kind of one of those situations. But DeLuca just happened to be right. So, Mary's like, well, what if you wouldn't have been right? You know what I'm saying? Nobody's blaming you for saving her life, but what if you wouldn't have been right? And he's like, man, so only the rules don't apply when it comes to Meredith Grey. So the rules applies to everybody else but Meredith Grey. I'd like to chime in and say that the rules do apply, but when you're Meredith Grey and when you're an attendant, you can do certain things that residents can't do. So that's something I would say about that. But he's kind of going on. And then here comes McWidow again, talking about you need to calm down in Italian. And he's like, well, mind your business in Italian. So it's kind of, I wonder if they're going to have a whole fight in Italian one of these episodes. That would be hilarious. Um, yeah, so that's when he broke up with her and everything. Um, let's see, what else happened there? Jackson goes to apologize to Maggie for leaving her in the woods because he's like, you're right, there were bears in the woods. And he came to apologize to her. Now when I saw Jackson at that door, the first thing that came to my mind was, he better not. He better not be trying to cheat on Vic. And I was thinking, like, bro, I don't really see them together that long. I don't see Vic and Jackson being together for that long. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe he'll get back with Maggie or something. Maybe he won't. Um, who knows? Lastly, but definitely not least, the two OGs of the show. Um, they what's her name? Miranda Bailey and Richard Weber. They kind of talk, and they have a conversation. You know, like they used to be like husband and work wife type deal. You know, you remember when his wife came and was like, "Bro, how you sleeping with my husband?" And she's like, "Nah, bro, I'm just his work wife." So like they're back and it's amazing. He's like he's not feeling the job. You know, he feel like Catherine took away his joy from the job. Uh, because you know he she bought out the hospital. She bought out Pac North, and he just feels like defeated. Like, man, there's no fun in doing this when she won and everything. And he's just like, man, it's no fun. And basically, he's like, this sounds like depression. And he's like, yeah, whatever. I'll see you later. And honestly, I'm gonna say something. I don't feel like they would have closed Pac North had Justin Chambers not left the show. I feel like they would have kept that hospital maybe a little bit longer, maybe not much longer, but a little bit longer they would have kept that hospital. Maybe for this season and the next season they close it or something because Grey's Anatomy, of course, it has to happen at the same hospital. But I kind of feel like they wouldn't have closed that hospital had he not left the show. So you know, it is what it is. You know, it kind of took the storyline in a different direction, and they addressed it. Like I said, they addressed the situation and how they're going to slowly, you know, make an exit. And they said it's going to take a couple more episodes for us to get to see the point of, you know, what's going to happen with Alex. Um, and you know, maybe he'll come back, maybe he won't. But I kind of feel like if next season is the last season, everybody past from the past has got to come back. Christina, um, what's that girl's name? Edwards, like Cali in Arizona, and April. Bro, freaking Cali, Arizona, April. They made this show. Like April was a big part of the show for a long time. Callie had been part of the show since she was like what for 10 seasons. So it's kind of like it's crazy. Like Mary or what's her name? Uh, Arizona's on the show for a long time as well. So the show's just not been the same without them, and it's just like it's kind of getting stupid, man. Like we need some OGs in the building, man. Like can we get some people back? Can we get Edwards to come back or something? Somebody like they mentioned Edwards in this episode, and it's kind of like, bro, can we get somebody back? Like this is just starting to become redundant. Like we're losing all the good. I mean, I understand it's a TV show and people leave and everything, but like we're down to like three original characters, and two of them were, you know, already formed when the show started. Um, Bailey and Weber were formed. They were already doctors. You know, she was a resident, of course, but they were already doctors. And it's kind of like, you know, the people who learned from the ground up are all gone. Like, freaking, they killed Lexi, man. They killed everybody, man. They killed Mark Sloan. Like, killed George. Like, I didn't really care for George ever, anyways. But, you know, they killed him off. Like, I know Catherine Heigl is a lot to deal with, but can we get her back or something? Like, somebody? Can we get somebody back? Like, Catherine, stop being HBIC and get back on this show. Like, we need somebody back. Like, it's just starting to get redundant and stupid. I love this show with all my heart, but you know, I'm just bored. I'm bored right now. I'm bored with it. And you know, ratings have been down. I've saw that in the last couple weeks as well. And now I'm just rambling. But the ratings have been down. Last week's episode, they say the ratings were down, but they picked up with the after hours. I would guess that's what they call. They have like the DVR recordings and then the Hulu's and everything and all those sites. They kind of picked. They got to their back to their regular ratings with that, but you know ratings for live watching were down. So and I just kind of feel like that has something to do with more and more people are getting rid of cable and getting Netflix and wait until it comes on Netflix to watch it. So I don't feel like that's 100% because of Grace. Like Grace is still like one of the number one show. So it's kind of like if they lose Grey's Anatomy next season, I like what are they gonna get to replace it? What are they gonna get to replace it? Like Shonda Rhimes have what 5 shows, five shows on here. She had what? Private Practice, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, Station 19, Grey's Anatomy, and I feel like I missed someone. She's had all these shows, so I mean, it's what are they gonna do? Um, I don't know what they're gonna do. Uh, because the ratings are just down. So whatever. We'll see. I'm done talking. I'll see you guys on Monday with Love and Hip Hop. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Um, if you love me. If you don't, subscribe anyways. I'll see you guys next week.